Our story begins in Marib, modern-day Yemen, the capital of the great kingdom of Sheba, cited in all major sacred books. A terrible disaster with the city's dam forces part of the royal family and part of the people to escape and find a new home. The caravan was led by Prince Jaffna ibn Admir, one of the 4 sons of the king of Sheba. It was a long journey, but they found solace in modern-day Syria, where a water spring named Ghassan made Prince Jaffna to establish a new kingdom, the Kingdom of Ghassan, becoming its first king in 220 CE. The royal family and the Ghassanid people adopted Christianity as their faith, a fact that remained untouched until today for the great majority of the Ghassanids, despite all the persecutions.
The persecutions isn't from our days now. I mean, the persecution that began even during the Roman Empire, where Christians were persecuted everywhere in the Middle East and even in Rome. And this is why we have our martyrs and our saint that, I mean, it was about people willing to preach Christianity all over the Middle East and in the world. And when they were killed, you know, by that time, by the rulers, the governors, or the emperors.
The kings of Ghassan established an alliance with the West, Roman and Byzantine empires, which gave the Ghassanids their cosmopolitan and progressive nature without losing their Arab roots. Maybe the most famous Ghassanid king of the first state was Al-Harith V, cited in Greek sources as Arethusa. As a great general, won several battles as a Byzantine ally against the Persians. That glory gave him such a degree of power that made the Byzantine Emperor Justinian I to bestow upon him the title of King of all Arabs, having the same imperial address of Basileus as Justinian himself. That extended his control beyond the Ghassanids. One of the most amazing battles won by Al-Harith was the one known as the Day of Halima, when only 100 Ghassanid commandos destroyed an overwhelming numerous Persian army.
I've always been a history buff. Since a young age at school, history was definitely my favorite class. Years later, I've discovered that everything I've learned wasn't necessarily the truth, but a version, usually bias, of the facts. Learning the history of my own people, the Ghassanids, I was amazed by how extremely relevant accounts could be left out of the mainstream history books.
At the end of the 6th century, a man calling himself the Messenger of God conquered the city of Mecca and won several other battles. He decided then to communicate with all the main rulers of the world at the time, offering them to embrace the new faith.
Muslim historians mention that Prophet Muhammad sent letters to all rulers in the region: the Byzantine emperor, the Persian emperor, the ruler of Egypt, the Negus of Ethiopia, and to our ancestor, King Al-Harith ibn Abu Shmor, or Abu Shumar. And the letter said, if you embrace Islam, you can keep your kingdom. And the king was very upset because he was a very devoted Christian.
But things started not coming from the religion itself, but from some interpretation. And as you know, the people who had to lead the conquest, they were not always and every time a good believers. They had also their own dreams to somehow to extend the religion, the Muslim religion, but also to take power, to take advantage. It's becoming also, and especially, a human interest. They went to the west, to Spain, to south of France. From this side, they conquer Asia Minor, Eastern Europe, and it's becoming an empire, an empire with political intervention, political purposes.
Some Ghassanid princes sought refuge in Anatolia, in the Byzantine Empire. The Ghassanid princes rose among the highest Byzantine elite. In the 9th century, Emperor Nicephorus I sat on the Purple Throne, claiming to be a direct descendant of the Ghassanid sovereigns, evoking the name of King Jaffna, the first king of Ghassan.
Almost 1 century later, we lost our kingdom in the region of today's Syria and Jordan, and we came to Lebanon.
One of the leading principalities that existed in Lebanon, of course, it's pre-Islamic, and it comes from the Hadramaut. The original family comes from the Hadramaut, which is today in the Yemen, and migrated over the years and established themselves first in Damascus and became a leading principality.
Although the Ghassanid kingdom enjoyed considerable wealth and power during the Byzantine rule, they also saw the beginning of their tarnished history and lies, especially at the hands of the Byzantine historians like Procopius, the only source of many accounts, Agathias, Menander, Evagrius. Theophylite Simocata gave them only a marginal role. Theophans calls them wild and rude invaders, although it's known that they were extremely sophisticated, versed in the fine arts, poetry, speaking several languages, and amazingly progressive, giving to the women a very prestigious role in society. All of the prejudice and its reflex on history books was totally debunked by archaeological findings like the Usays inscription, found in the late 20th century, which is considered to be the most important Arabic inscription of the 6th century and the second most important of all the pre-Islamic inscriptions. In the end, the Muslim historians never liked the Ghassanids because they were Christians, and the Western historians disliked them because they were Arabs. Do you not see that God has granted you such a degree of power that you will observe every king trembling at your feet? For you are the sun, the kings are stars, and when the sun rises, no star will be seen.